Natalie Yanchak is a writer, musician, and singer based in Montreal, Quebec. Along with her partner, Murray Lightburn, she spearheads the long-running and internationally acclaimed rock band, The Deers, whose seventh full-length album, Times Infinity Volume 2, was released in 2017 via Danger Bird Records. When The Deers played Waterloo, Ontario, towards the end of that year, I met with Natalia for a talk about the record and her band, and some other things too. Animals. We talked a lot about animals, it seems. I don't know what was going on with us that day, but we talked a lot about animals. Sponsored by Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph, Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton, and Planet of Sound locations in Ottawa and Toronto. This is the 387th episode of Creative Control, featuring Natalia Yanchak of The Deers with your host, me, Vish Khanna. Natalia, thank you for being on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a while.
I think it had. I don't even remember the last time.
Was it the breakfast thing?
Was that the last time we would have been? No, I've seen you since then. You were on my old CBC show.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we've seen each other since. That was like 6-7 years ago. There's no way. I think we've seen each other since then.
But I find that this is what the internet does.
Oh.
Is that like when you see people on either like Instagram, or you feel like you've been keeping up to date with, you know, their children and their purchases, their meals.
Whatever I put, I'm not a meal person.
No, neither am I.
I try not to do that. But yeah, it was the odd, my kids and stuff are on there. Yeah, that's true. We kind of interact that way. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, it's nice to see you in person.
Yes.
Yeah. How are things going?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
How long have you been on tour?
Well, we've been in November. We've been doing like a sort of weekend warrior.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like a long tour, but it is a long tour.
Right.
So in October we did 2 weeks in England, and then now we did 5 shows in the States, 4 shows in Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
And then next week we go to do you call it the Golden Horseshoe?
Yeah. Yes, I guess you're technically kind of in the Golden Horseshoe because it's kind of around Lake Ontario.
Oh, is that what it means?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why it's a horseshoe in a lake. There's no horses in the lake.
No.
But there's some kind of thing. Yeah, I think you're in the. Why? What's coming up next?
Like the Niagara region.
Niagara region.
We do St. Catharines, Hamilton. Yeah. And then Windsor, which is not in the horseshoe. No,
Windsor's not in the horseshoe. It's like 3-4 hours away from here near Detroit. Yeah. Okay, so you're doing the circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how are you finding it at this point in your life, touring? Because you've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
Is it easier? Is it better?
I think the experience of it gets easier because it becomes more practical. It's less... it's fun, but it's less partying. Woo!
You're kind of you're working.
It's, yes.
And
I guess it's, maybe that's what I'm saying. That is a job like.
But
it's a fun job.
You tend to, when you get to a point and it becomes a job, that sounds unfun, but it actually means it can be more fulfilling because you've actually, you manage your day a bit better.
Yeah.
You know your human limits.
It's true.
Which is good. And you're a parent.
Yes.
Does your child come with you?
Sometimes. Our oldest daughter, she's 12. She started high school. So she has told us that she doesn't want to go on tour anymore.
High school? I feel like the last time we spoke, there was no high school in sight. That's amazing.
Well, in Quebec, high school starts at grade 7.
So that would be junior high.
Exactly.
I see. Okay, so
it's just shock value that I'm trying.
So she's got this attitude of like, I don't want to go with you guys. You think you're so cool.
Well, I think it's less that, and it's more that she wants to stay on top of the academic side.
Oh, of course, yeah, sure.
So that's what's motivating her,
right,
on that end, which is good. I can get behind that.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then our boy, he's 5, and he came to England with us.
Oh, cool.
But I could tell that towards the end of the trip, he was missing his sister and our cats. So when we asked him if he wanted to come with us on the next dates, he was like, "No, I'm going to stay with Neptune."
The cat, or is that your daughter?
Yeah, Neptune is our daughter.
Yeah.
and you know, the cats aren't watching them, but it's my mom is staying with them.
Do you ever ask the cats if they want to come?
Well, Murray is actually deathly allergic to cats, so I don't know how we have cats.
Why do you keep cats if your husband is deathly allergic?
When there's like a cat, like a feral cat colony in our neighborhood, and when we moved into our house like 12 years ago, there were cats, and that obviously the previous owners were, I don't know if they abandoned cats or were feeding cats, so cats would just come to our door and be like, "What's up?
Yeah, sure.
Gonna feed me?"
I have a cat like that now in our neighborhood. He just comes. I let him in the house the other day.
Yeah.
He's got a collar and stuff. He's not
It's
feral.
like someone else's cat, straight up.
Yeah, that's how I inherited my late beloved cat. The neighbor, my cat was Gary, and as soon as we moved in, I think the previous owners had a dog, and Gary came to the door, and I let him in, and the neighbor, that his owner was fine. She had like 3 kids and a gerbil and a rabbit.
Right.
And then a new puppy dog. She's like, yeah, Gary just needs a break probably. Yeah, let him in. And I was like, well, what about, can I give him some snacks? I did that. I pulled that move.
Right.
And that was bad. I mean,
bad for
I
who?
asked. No, it's good. I'm like, he's in here and he's looking at us while we're eating. Can I get him some, like cat treats?
Right.
It's not like a full-on meal, just like a treat. And she was like, yeah. If you don't have to, but if you want to, sure. I think she was grateful. Anyway, then they moved.
And they left the cat?
Well, Gary went with them and he didn't like it. So it didn't take. And she said, if this doesn't take, can I bring Gary back? I'm like, I was hugging her because I was so heartbroken that Gary was leaving. So we got to keep Gary in the end, and he stayed with us until he passed away 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a thing with, I love cats. And but my wife is, not deathly, but my wife is allergic.
Right.
So I had the same dynamic. That's hard. Cats are hard that way with couples. Because, there goes Murray. He's off.
He's leaving
because we're talking about cats. He's allergic to the conversation about the cats. That's how bad it is. Yeah, anyway, so that's...
So you can sympathize with the, cat adoption.
Absolutely.
Feral cat.
The feral cat...
Oh, that Gary wasn't feral.
No, he was an outdoor cat.
Yeah.
But, no, I wouldn't have a feral cat. I'm with Murray on that one.
So our cats, we had... Okay, so there was a colony in our backyard, and we just called her Mama Cat because she would have kittens, like 2 litters a year.
Really?
So many cats.
Wow.
And I tried to, with the SPCA, I trapped a bunch of cats, but she would never go for it.
How do you trap a cat?
You have to get a special trap.
Oh, you bought a trap?
No, the SPCA, they have like a trap neuter release program.
Mm-hmm.
So, they give you the whole rundown, and then it's like a raccoon trap. They go in and then they step on the thing and the door closes and they freak out.
That's not good.
Put them in the car, they freak out.
Yeah, that's not good. So your little cat, that's crazy. You weren't like a cat vigilante necessarily, but you had to take care of the cats.
Yeah, so we would feed them. I was feeding them.
Yeah.
But they didn't come in the house. They were out, like fully
You were feeding
outdoor.
them outside, okay.
And Mama Cat, we could not touch her. She hated humans, and she's recently was taken in. She was super sick, so she's gone now. But we kept 2 of her kittens from a previous litter. They're born in our backyard, and so now there are cats.
Well, this is quite a tangent we've gone on. I just asked about tour, and now you've got cat colonies, and I don't know, these things happen. We're having a conversation, but I didn't know it was going to go this route because, as far as I know, there's no cat talk on your latest record.
No, but cats are important.
I agree. I love cats.
Yeah.
Do you talk to people who think dogs are better than cats?
Yeah. I mean, I had a dog.
Like as a child?
No, like when I was in university.
Oh, in university you had a dog?
Yeah.
Aren't you busy in university to have a dog?
Yeah. Well, the guy I was seeing maybe, took the lead on that.
Oh,
he was a dog person.
I see. Yeah, the dog people are their own breed.
Yeah, but I appreciate dogs.
I like dogs. I don't have a problem with dogs. My daughter loves dogs.
Yeah.
I think more than cats.
Yeah.
My son claims he likes cats. I don't think he likes either. I think he's just scared of all animals.
He just has to take a side.
He's a bit of a chicken, my son.
Yeah.
He's just a little bit of a chicken.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Yeah.
But no, I just mean...
Is he a chicken or is he sensitive?
Well, I just think compared to my daughter, who's like frightfully fearless. Like for me, I'm just like, dude, like she's just in the water, like just whatever. Like my wife took them. I got to stay home this Halloween and hand out the candy.
Right.
It's great. I liked it. I just listened to podcasts and music, and every 5 minutes a kid would knock on the door. But my wife took our kids out, and my son didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to go to any houses. He was scared of everything and everyone. And my daughter was like, whatever.
Yeah.
My daughter was a pig, and she'd just be like, oink, oink, and she's just 2. Like, it's just funny.
Oh, she's younger.
She's, 2.5. She's going to be 3 soon, yeah.
Wow.
So that's why it's fascinating. It's just fascinating. The children are fascinating. Anyway, I don't know where we came up with that one. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I like parenting. And I think that's what it was. You say you're weekend warriors, and I assume the kids, the family, that's a factor.
We're a family of weekend warriors. Well, I mean, as soon as they start going to school, you have no choice.
Right.
I mean, even like they went to daycare, and I mean, that's already getting you into that 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's all about like institutionalizing
schedules, routines,
your life, and they train them from a young age to be 9 to 5ers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if anything, that's what has changed the most over, like, for being in a band for us, is that we've had to adapt to this sort of 9 to 5.
Yeah, because you're not a 9 to 5 person, are you?
I am now.
You are now.
I'm very 9 to 5
because of the parenting.
Because of school, yeah.
Because your kid's school.
Yes,
not your school.
Kid's school. Yeah, I don't go to school.
You don't go to school. I don't know. Maybe you're still going to school.
Done with school.
People go to school. Yeah,
I know.
And after they've gone to school, they go to school again sometimes.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. So it's true, and I've talked about this on the show a bunch with parents and other people who aren't parents to try to maybe dissuade them from becoming parents. Maybe, I don't know. I just talk about time management and how it's difficult. Speaking of time, this is a good segue. Time's Infinity.
Yes.
See what I did? Got into the record.
Just jumped right in.
This is volume 2.
Yes.
So I have a rough sense of the connection between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the latest one is volume 2, which came out this year. How long ago? In the summer, right? I think it was.
Yeah.
In
summer. July.
So can you explain the relationship between the 2 records and then I guess Time's Infinity as a concept as a whole?
Well, I think the main non-conceptual relationship, the practical part of it, was that all the songs were written over the same period. So that's what the connection is that all these songs were written as a batch when we were, when as a band we were in that period, sort of in 2000, I don't even remember, 12? I don't know.
12?
Really long time ago.
2012,
2013.
They were all conceived and composed in the same batch.
Yeah, well, I mean, not specifically as like,
whole?
In the creation period, it's just you're just writing,
just
writing songs, ideas, parts. This album was co-written by the band, so there was a lot of sharing of ideas and refining them before we go into the studio. So when we went into the studio, we had 24 songs, and we still didn't know how that was going to work. So we went to Toronto, we recorded all our bed tracks at Revolution.
Yeah.
And then we paused and we looked at all the songs and how they were taking shape. And
sorry, may I intervene?
Yeah.
Of the 24 that you mentioned, how many do you record in Toronto?
We recorded all of them.
All of them in Toronto?
All the drums, bass, and some guitars.
All the beds?
All the bed tracks, yeah.
Okay.
And then we decided which songs were going to go on which album. Because we knew we're like double album. People don't even listen to, we're done with the super long album because people don't listen to music that way.
I was going to say that like this latest record is 10 songs, 30 minutes or something like that. Yeah. 35 minutes. Yeah.
And like we could have done a double album, but I think that for me, my interpretation of, what my preference is that that's just not how people consume music. There are people that will appreciate a double album and listen to it, the whole thing, but it's almost like a waste of resources to put it all in one basket.
See, there's a thing that you allude to there where you're talking about maybe contemporary music consumption, but I think you're probably also talking about the way you're even consuming music, right?
Yeah, I don't listen to music.
Not in any form.
Very rarely. The only time I listen to music is when the label's like, you got to make a playlist. We got to make a playlist for Spotify.
Oh, like a thing where like the artist selects someone else. Like, or what do you mean? What does that mean? Like,
I don't know.
Like a mixtape kind of thing?
Yeah, like a mixtape.
Bands you like or whatever?
Yeah,
songs
just,
you like?
content.
Right, content.
Infinite content. That's like where we are right now.
Right,
so,
right.
I'm identifying with that.
So I guess my point is, because I go through this sometimes when I'm making this show, where I'm like, would I listen to this show?
Right.
Like, how many shows do I listen to these days? And it doesn't haunt me too much, but it is something I ask myself sometimes. So when you said that, like the way people consume music, no one's listening to a double record anymore.
Right.
I just wonder if that's an extension of your own impulse to, if you were to be like, oh, my favorite band put out a double record. Nah, I don't think I can consume a double record.
I mean, I think I'm trying to not appeal, but address in my mind, the phrase lowest common denominator is coming up, but that is not what I want to say.
Sure.
Sort of just the masses. Just as a musician in a band, I'm very, we're self-managed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very deep in the management, marketing, that side of it.
You are.
And it's gross. And it's hard because you have to, for me, I have to think about we made this beautiful, created this piece of art, and then you switch into, okay, now it's a product that we have to sell.
What's the angle?
Yeah. And we've put out albums that are longer, and I mean, I'm not going to say that like the critics are, dictating what we do, but because then we just would never make a record again.
Yeah,
but
it didn't sound like you were alluding to critics. It sounded like you were alluding to consumers.
Yeah, but it's just like I think it was just our interpretation of what the climate is, and it's less about albums and more about tracks and songs, and we still wanted to make something that was like cohesive and that would keep people's attention.
Do you think that's still the case? Like, I think I'm with you on the fact that there did seem to be a singles mania there for a while.
Yeah.
And you still get people releasing songs in anticipation of their records. Mm-hmm. But I do find that people are really, critics anyway, I think. Again, it depends who you're writing for or who you're addressing in that comment. But I feel like there's been a renewed interest in the album, in the whole statement, mm-hmm. not just if a song is like a sentence.
Yeah.
I think people want to hear the whole quote, like the whole thing.
And I still think that the 2 volumes of what we made, they are cohesive and they do tell a story. Yeah. If you listen to the whole 1 volume or you listen to both volumes together, it's still a valid experience. But I think maybe what got us onto this topic is the idea of why didn't we just put it all out in one epic album?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is still a way that people still do that, and that's totally fine. Well, I think it was our conscious choice to sort of have one epic studio session that would create 2 separate releases.
Yeah, I think that's partially where I'm fascinated, is that you went into a Toronto studio and you actually you had 24 songs. Mm-hmm. And I guess I thought you might say, so we went into the Toronto studio and we recorded 12 of them.
Right.
And then we worked on them, and then we revisited the other 12. But the fact that it was you're saying it was a creative burst that yielded 24 songs, and then it was a working session that captured those 24 songs. That's a little unusual.
Yeah, but I mean, once we did the bed tracks, we reviewed the songs, and then we, segmented them into 2 collections, which was a hard decision because it's like there were some songs that I was like emotionally attached to that I wanted to come out, because like volume 1 is going to come out sooner than volume 2. We're going to have to wait for volume 2 to come out. And so those were hard choices because we didn't want volume 2 to be just, ballads and B-sides.
Yeah.
So
you want them to stand on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
because the conceptualization is happening because of you. I mean, you could have just as easily you mentioned that you think there's a cohesive connection between the 2 volumes.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done something where you'd recorded the 24, you released 10, 11, 12 songs as a record, and then a year later or whatever it is, you put out another record, different title, different everything. People don't connect the 2.
Exactly, yeah.
It's interesting that you did connect them. You viewed it as a cohesive thing.
Yeah, I think it had to be. I think because when we go into the studio, it is like it's capturing an essence of that moment in time.
A moment in time, yeah.
And where we are as musicians and what we're singing about and writing about. Yeah. And I think if we tried to like separate those 2 things and make it like the Doofus album, and then, I don't know, Ding Dongs Unite, like if...
Interesting choices there.
Yeah, those were the working titles.
That's where your mind just went. That was interesting. Yeah.
And it's goofy. But I think it would have felt false if we tried to do that.
Let's go back to this story you're talking about, because I know we don't have a lot of time, but because you're playing a show as we're speaking. You've got a show to play tonight.
Yeah, I'm playing a show right now.
Not this
while
second.
We're recording.
This is not a show.
Yes. Yeah, we're playing around the corner, and I have to leave in... Wait, what is the time?
I don't know. It's like...
Who's reliable?
Oh, I got 8:18. Actually, we have more time.
Tons of time.
By the way, we have more time than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought that clock says...
That clock is wrong.
6 minutes fast. Hotel clocks, they want you out of here. They want you to check out early.
Yeah, get out.
Get out.
Housekeeping.
You say there's a story connecting the 2. I was listening to this record, the volume, the second volume, and I heard defiance, and I heard a kind of... There's a desperation, maybe a sense of instability, perhaps. This is where I'm coming from with it. What is your sense of this story, the story you're telling on Time's Infinity, between the 2? Because I can't help but feel like it's a very reflective record, an introspective record in some ways.
It is, absolutely. I think there's a lot of...
Both of them, I should say, not just...
Yeah, there's a lot of tenderness in it. There's a lot of resolve. I think Volume 2 has more resolve than Volume 1. And there's a lot of dealing with feelings. There's a lot of feels. Yeah. Might I even say it has all the feels.
That's what the kids say.
That's what the kids are saying.
That's what they said last year. I don't know if they're saying it now, but we it takes us a while to catch up with what the kids are saying.
We're older now, we're slower.
Yeah, we can't always be on fleek.
Yeah.
So, did I say that right? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm in my mind, I'm like, can I work FOMO into this somehow? How am I going to phrase that?
Where do you think this feeling is coming from, per se? I mean, did you have conversations about that?
I mean, Murray writes all the lyrics, so...
Does he write the songs that you sing?
Yes.
Those are, okay.
Yes, and when he writes them, it's not always, like, it's not like he's writing songs for me. He's just writing songs, and then they get to a point, and... Because, we'll be working from demos, and most of all the demos, he's singing the melody. Yeah. And then it's just like, either... It'll be apparent, like, I want you to sing this. This is going to be a duet. We're both going to sing this. Like, there's, for example, I mean, we're moving crazy off of whatever we were talking about before.
No. I think it's
we're off fleek now. I don't know.
No. I when I hear you sing a song like "I Want You" or a lyric like "I want you all to leave us alone,"
yeah,
I feel I am going to always associate that lyric with you and your voice now. Yeah, and. I've talked about this with other people who have sung songs that are composed lyrically by others. And that investment of feeling in someone else's words, that can be a tricky proposition for the best of singers sometimes. Yeah. Right? They really have to feel something, to be able to render it in a way that is believable. And
Yeah.
you've done that here. So you say resolve, and that's a lyric that sticks out to me in my head. When you sing that, it does seem like it's a pushback against something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that song especially, initially it was supposed to be Murray singing that, I'm sorry that I wish you dead, and then he flip-flopped it and said that I should sing it. And it is, yeah. I mean, that song is probably the most confrontational track on the 2 volumes, because it is such a hard statement.
Yeah.
And it's not meant to be taken literally. I mean, I guess you could take it literally, but
It's angry, and it seems like you say, confrontational.
But I think there's a lot of themes of like relationships, and not just romantic relationships, just dealing with people. And we're living in weird times, and we have to learn how to deal with people, and it's not always easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's present across the board right now, in terms of this cultural moment in time, and this political moment and socio-political moment in time. But when you say that, I just can't help but think of the different interpersonal relationships the Deers have had as an entity. There's been different labels, there's been different configurations of the band.
Yeah.
If this record is addressing relationships, human relationships, if some of it is based in tenderness and some of it's based in rancor, I don't know. Can you land on a general sentiment or general frame of mind that Murray might have been in composing some of these songs? Like, what was he directing some of this to?
I don't know. I mean, that's a hard... Here he is right now. Why don't we just ask him? No.
I don't think he wants to participate. He's just passing through. It's going to be funny because he's going to hear you trying to interpret some of his work. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's a difficult answer to come up with, because when it was created and now, a lot of time has passed and a lot of things have changed.
Did you say 2012?
Well, I think 2013 would probably be 2013. Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago that it was created. So, like, my answer, if I had answered it back then, would be different from, If
you'd answered it when it was conceived initially,
Yeah, I think, I mean, I can't answer it because I didn't write those lyrics.
Yeah, it's a shame the lyricist isn't here. It's just a shame he's not around right now to hear us talking about him. But no, and it's a big question to ask, I think, and I'm asking you to generalize a little bit about a moment in time. But I think the fact that it has taken so long for the public to be able to process this, that kind of makes it more fascinating, because I do think songwriting can be something of an exorcism of various feelings, and
a way to like channel just emotions or ideas, even if it's like a fictional idea.
It's just a frame of mind you might have been in. But I gather from what you were kind of halting yourself from saying is that Murray might be past some of those ideas.
I think some of the songs are timeless, like not timeless, but are memories, based on memories. So,
oh, you mean even in 2013, he was calling back to the past?
Yeah, I am completely blanking on all the names of all the songs.
I have it here. If you want, I can pull it up.
But there are songs that are written about, like personal relationships in his life, people around him, family, friends, fictitious extrapolations on, the feelings that come with that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm not...
There's fighting and stuff too. Like I mentioned the song or you mentioned the song,
I'm sorry that I wished you dead. Yeah.
And then there's also, guns or knives, of fisticuffs. There's this notion of addressing a combative dynamic.
Yeah.
And pushing back a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, it's not meant to be like physical, like physically.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, but I think there's some anger there. There's some, I think it's dealing with it. I think that's like the biggest theme, is just confronting those frustrations and reconciling them in some kind of meaningful way that's not just violent or aggressive or passive aggressive.
Yeah.
It's just dealing with it and doing something about it.
I mean, it's interesting for you. You invoked the phrase timeless, and I know you kind of stopped yourself from saying that even because you were worried. I think maybe it sounded, I don't know, immodest or something. But I think of this time, which is one of great rage across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, and people feel empowered to be outspoken and express their rage and push back against powerful people. And then there's a song called All the Hail Marys on this collection that also, I think, refers to the hope that some people are still clinging to. I guess my point is there seem to be a lot of themes on this record consisting of songs written 3-4 years ago that are timeless. They feel very perfect for this time.
Yeah, well, I think that those notions of feeling powerless in your own life and not being able to control everything that happens to you is, that's never going to stop.
Yeah.
That's a sentiment that even, the most, destitute people feel, and also the people that have tons of cash and don't have to worry about, how they're going to eat.
Yeah.
Still have those feelings.
Yeah.
So maybe it's less timeless that I'm trying to say and more universal.
Yeah, I think that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to a great artist to actually tap into a feeling within and have that work transcend that moment in time.
Yeah.
See, now I'm being immodest about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're amazing, so...
That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to argue. We have to wrap it up because you've got to play a show.
Yes.
Can you... Two things. Briefly, just tell me and people listening where the Deers are going, because we've talked about music you made 4 years ago or 3 years ago that's just out now. I'm curious about future plans. And then after that, I'm going to ask you to actually pick a song for us to play.
Okay.
From, I think we should go with Times Infinity Volume 2 to go out on. But I'm just giving you the heads up for that. But basic stuff, future plans, beyond the touring.
I mean, there's more touring in the new year. We're going out west. We're going to hit all the markets, all the major markets. And and then after that...
Manager speak just came into play there. That was amazing. Yeah.
Ding.
All the major markets.
And then, there's a lot of projects that Murray and I have individually that aren't Deers related, that, we're working on. But I mean, it's been an ongoing thing that it's like the Deers in our life is like the sun, and everything we do is just orbiting around that. And, if I want to get like, philosophical, it's the sun never goes out, so, I don't know what I'm saying. So
I don't know either. It was on fleek though.
It was basically, that the Deers will always be there as some kind of core, some kind of thing that always exists, that we're always being pulled toward.
There was like a vinyl box set that just came out too, right? Is that Paper Bag doing that?
Yeah, we reissued a bunch of our records that were either out of print on vinyl or never were released on vinyl. And so we're peddling those. And then
I only bring that up because you mentioned the sun and the power of the Deers. But and me asking you about the future, you were kind of drawn to the fact that the Deers is always there for you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point out that in just to echo what I was saying earlier about this being maybe a reflective record or a reflective time for the band, you just released all your other records basically on vinyl, and there's this sort of stock taking, I feel like, that's happening a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the biz is crazy, there's just so many bands, and it's hard to cut through.
Well, but I think these reissues and people re-releasing the records that they're best known for.
Yeah, I think it's like gratitude towards ourselves, which sounds very, selfish, but it is sort of, recognizing that, that these, I'm not saying us, like all these bands that have these history behind them, it's just recognizing that and acknowledging it and making sure that, it doesn't just disappear, because it's really easy to disappear and become invisible.
Yeah, I think
as a band.
I've seen some of the more legacy artists, I think, just trying to remind people of a time when there was more goodwill directed towards them.
Yeah.
I watched the entire World Series, and U2 seems to have paid someone to just play clips of their old songs.
Like, is that like as their walkout?
No. Like, the network was paid to, every commercial break was like Sunday Bloody Sunday and With or Without You, and I think because there was such a backlash towards them after the Apple iTunes thing, and then they did this Joshua Tree tour recently, which I think was another way of being like, remember when you liked us, remember why you liked us. I know you hate us now, but remember why. And I do think that a lot of these reissue not yours, by the way, but I do think a lot of reissue campaigns are just like, they're feeding into nostalgia, but I think they're feeding into just remember why you enjoyed us in the first place, as you appreciate what we're bringing to the table next.
And I think if we can circle back to what we were like, this concept of how people consume music.
Yes.
And that's changed so much. And I think that ties in.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Remember how you listen to music and remember how that affected you. And, it's just trying to keep up with that.
You've made several vinyl shaped circles with your hand there.
Yes.
Remember how you used to? Remember. Yeah. Rotate
Remember
it.
how you bought these at tonight's show? Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so there's going to be some future stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always.
Coming up.
I just can't say when or how or what.
And it sounds like you're busy on the road anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is there a song from the new record that we can go out on if you could pick one?
Yeah, I mean, let's go out on Guns or Knives, which is, when we finished making the record and we got the masters back for that track, I was like literally listening to it just like crying. I was like, this song is fucking amazing.
Nice.
So, maybe someone listening to this podcast will have the same reaction.
I appreciate that because I think it maybe partially because Murray tends to write all the songs, you're almost objective about the Deer's music in some ways.
In some ways, I do lose that objectivity, like being in the studio is, you lose that because you're so intimate with the songs.
Yeah.
But I think definitely where I come in is on a sort of producer side.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily like the songwriter, but definitely like on a textural level and arrangement scene, that's where I excel.
Yeah. Well, you're proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And you're proud of your band.
Yeah, well, I'm amazing. We're amazing. Everything's amazing.
That's good. This is Guns or Knives from Times Infinity Volume 2 by the Deers. I said it right.
Yeah.
I did say the band's name right. The Deers. I don't know why I stumbled over that. Natalia?
It's tough words.
It is.
They're hard words.
The Deers. It's a double duh. I think I'm an idiot.
Deers.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, the Deers.
Basically, yeah.
The Deers. Natalia, thank you so much for being on this show, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Fall, but I have a brand new story that one's getting old. I knew you would finally call, 'cause you don't care if I'm a sinner or a helpless soul. No, you don't care if I'm a sinner or a helpless soul. Should I be bringing guns or knives to this fight for our lives, or come in peace care if I'm a sinner or a messed up soul. No, you don't care if I'm a sinner or a messed up soul. Only to fall, but now I have a brand new story and it's far from told. Yeah, I have a brand new story and it's far from told. Yeah, I have another story and it's far from told.
Special thanks again to Natalia Yanchak of The Deers for being on this, the 387th episode of Creative Control, which is part of the Entertainment One podcast network and is available on all iOS and Android platforms, and also on Spotify and audioboom.com too. If you can't find an episode that you're looking for some reason, and or you just wished to learn more about me or sign up for my regularly scheduled newsletter, please visit my website vishkhanna.com. That's VISHKHANNA.com. You can like Creative Control with Vish Khanna on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Vish Creative, or follow me at Vish Khanna. Listen to a radio show version of Creative Control on Wednesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time around the world at CFRU.ca or on an actual radio at 93.3 FM if you're in or near Guelph. Also, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control to make a flexible monthly donation to keep this podcast going. We are currently at $168 a month. So things have plummeted in the Patreon game for this show, and it feels like a bad sign, but at the same time, the show feels like it's okay. It feels like it's in a good place. But it doesn't seem to be doing well in terms of making me a lot of money. But that's fine. I mean, that's fine. It's fine. Again, patreon.com/Creative Control to make a flexible monthly donation to keep the show going. And if you'd like a gift in return, a t-shirt, maybe some records or something, I can work something out. Just send me a note after you make your Patreon pledge. Send me a note and we'll figure something out. What else do I have to say? Oh, yes, thanks again to Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph for their in-kind donations to this show. Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton. I finally made it to Hamilton on my way back from Toronto today, and I got myself a dozen Granddad's Donuts, and my son and I split one each. We split one in half, and then we ate another one. We split that one in half, and we enjoyed ourselves. It was great. Thank you, Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton, Ontario. Also, Planet of Sound in Toronto for sponsoring the show. Great high-end sort of hi-fi home theater kind of place. There's one in Toronto. There's one in Ottawa. There's two in Toronto. There's two in Toronto, one in Ottawa. Planet of Sound. Go see them. They'll help you out. I'd also like to thank Jim Guthrie for letting me use the instrumental version of The Rest Is Yet to Come to end this show each week. And thanks to you, too, for listening to the program and reviewing it and rating it and downloading episodes of the show and spreading the word about it. It means a lot, and I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for that. So thank you very much. I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.